All right, all right, all right. Welcome and happy Thursday, everybody. This is Tony Lynch, and welcome to another episode of Grief Let's Talk About It podcast, man. Um, for you guys that are tuning in, man, you know how we do it, man. We constantly bringing these amazing stories to you, that inspire you, to help you, give you tools about dealing with your grief and everything. And it doesn't stop, man. We got another amazing guest, man. Today we have Jonathan Mayo. And so today I get to sit down with him. He gets to talk to us about his journey about being divorced. We're going to talk to him about being a mental institution, and his attempt at taking his life, man. But there's a twist at the end, man. He has an amazing journey, and as always, it's inspiring. And so he is now a motivational speaker, inspiring other people out there going through their journeys, man. So if you guys could help give a warm welcome to my guest, man, Jonathan Mayo.
Hey guys, how y'all
All
doing? How
right,
y'all
Mr. Mayo,
doing?
how
Hope
you
all is
doing?
well. Let's
All
go.
right.
Let's go.
Yes, 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 man. Yes, yes, man. Thank you for being on the show today, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing today? I'm good.
I am doing well, man. I am doing well. So we talked previously, man, and you told everybody. Well, you was telling me about your journey, man. I just thought it was so inspiring, and some of the people that you've had the opportunity to meet in person, well, meet
Yeah.
at their speakers, man. And I want before we get into that, tell people where you're from.
I'm from North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. Little, so I was in small town, just been around North Carolina a lot.
Right.
Traveled a little bit, but North Carolina is home for me. It's very home for me. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. We talked for a good little while, man. About your journey being divorced and things like that. You want to share your
Yes.
journey with the audience, man? D, how you doing, brother? Thank you for tuning in.
My journey it's been challenging through adversity of divorce, relationships, and things like that. But I got through it, man. I got through it. I had people along the way because I really feel like God really gives you what you need at that time and the place. Because timing is everything. People, places, and things are in order. He orders your steps. So also too, while you're doing it, you're doing the work, and He's going to give you what you need, but also in that moment give you strength and hope to continue to keep going. So that's been my story, and I've been having to just do the work, really do the work, and I start to get these blessings and character traits and different things that I have
It's
inside of
all
me, and they
about,
start to
man.
flourish.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. It's about doing the work, you know.
Mhm.
And as I like to tell people, sometimes you got to go through your go through, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
got
you
it.
will,
Yeah,
if you can go through your go through and you can withstand the storm, there's greater things on the other side. But you have to,
hmm,
man, you have to be able to weather that storm, though, man. You have
yes,
to,
got it.
because if
Yeah,
not, that storm will take you out and then keep you down if you let it, man. You know.
yeah,
So you've been divorced twice, right?
yeah, yes, hmm,
And that's kind of where everything started. Yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of where everything
hmm,
started. You want to tell the audience a little bit about that because we always talking about grief, right? We always talking about losses and what I'm saying, after death and things like that. But what people don't understand is that grief can come in many forms. You know what I'm
hmm,
saying? And that journey of grief can be almost similar, if not the same. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
As losing someone, because you did lose
yeah,
someone. You lost a significant other. You know what I'm saying, through a
right,
divorce. And it
right,
affected you. I mean, not only once but twice, right?
right,
Yeah.
right.
So let's dive into that, man. Take me on that journey, brother.
Yeah, I would say like it kind of two things I've noticed that uh when it came to the mental part of the side of things, like you said, divorce means separate or the divide. So that means I was hurt when it came to separating from the fact that I would no longer be with this person that I had a dream and that I want to build my life with. twice. So it was pivotal. The first time it was like, okay, all right, not say a mistake, but I get it. I learned my lesson. Then the second time, I'm like, I'm going through this again. And it was like, it hurt me to the point like I had to literally start over, like, yo, what is this? What's wrong with my relationships? So I had to get real and do my healing work. Um, but also do I continue to stay faithful to myself and faithful to the process. And when we think about separating, is it you some things are part yourself, you abandon parts of you that the residue is like, man, I forgot about myself, I left myself, but also you leaving the other person to who they're who who they are. And it's like when you start to become better for yourself, it's like, man, I'm getting better each and every day. Well, my whole thing was my first uh divorce was I was in the hospital and the mental hospital or whatever, and it was like, what's going on? I started getting better. And I asked, asked her at the time, I said, we started talking, I started feeling better, let's talk and things like that. And she was like, I said, so we're gonna get back together, what's going on? She was like, nah, I don't think so. And then that day she just sent me divorce papers. And that day I was like, oh wow, it was so shocking. But it was still so good and liberating to the point like I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Then to the second one, I felt healed and stuff and got remarried again. And one day I came home to the house, everything was gone. I mean, everything out of the house was gone. She moved to an apartment somewhere I didn't know about her or whatever. And then I'm still thinking we're still trying to work things out. Then next thing y'all know, she done moved to a whole nother state. So in that, I felt so abandoned. I felt neglected. I felt rejected, and all these things that I felt as a man. And I'm like, yo, I'm going through this twice. Like I don't nobody want to keep getting hurt after hurt after hurt again. So I said, I really hone in. I said, yo, Jonathan, I said, I prayed to God and said, I can't do this again. I need you to help me to walk through this journey with me this time. I can't do it no other way. And he walked me through it and I did the work, started going to therapy, started going to just talking about it and then connecting with men and just reading books and really got selfish. And then I read a book by Eric Thomas said, "You owe you." And I started to read that and that changed my trajectory of life. And I was like, okay, I owe it to myself to be a better version of myself. I owe it to myself to be me. I owe it to myself to show up a different way. And then I read this, I listened to something else, this other book called Unsafe People. And I was learning, am I safe to myself and am I unsafe to other people? And noticing that I was attracted unsafe people too. So that changed a lot too in my life.
Right.
And just one time I had went to therapy and my therapist told me, I was talking about the situation. He said, you feel like your whole life you felt like you was not enough. I said, that hit me deep. And I said, you are so right. So now I started saying, you are enough, Jonathan. You are enough. You are enough. And that birthed my Speak Life to Me business because I was learning that I'm enough to be a good man. I'm enough to show up today. I'm enough to be who I'm supposed to be. And every man on this call is listening. You are enough to be you. You are enough to show up. You are enough to be loved. You are enough to be cared for. You are enough to be the best version of yourself, regardless of what people think or what they feel. Like I'm telling you, God, everything inside of you have it, and God gave you gifts and talents. So continue to be you. Like don't worry about what people say or how they talk about you. Be you. I'm telling you, you got this.
Man, ain't that the truth, man? Ain't that the truth? Because I don't, what I find a lot of times with men, we don't speak enough life of each other, right? You know what I'm saying? We could talk about
Yeah.
the basketball game, football games, things like that. But when it comes down to things that, I'm saying, the emotional side of it, most men kind of shy away. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
when like, say for instance, you know what I'm saying, a long time ago, I was going through something and I told a buddy, I was trying to talk to a buddy of mine and he hurry up and change the subject to something else. Like he was trying to avoid it, right? I was like, and
Right.
so after a
Right.
while, I just
Exactly.
stopped. Now that I'm
Mm-hmm.
older and doing the work that I do, I encourage it. I tell men, look, if you
Mm-hmm.
can't effectively communicate with the people around you, how
Mm-hmm.
would they ever
Mm-hmm.
know how to support you? See,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not communicating, you know what I'm saying, and telling people, then you can't complain when people don't get it.
Right.
You see
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
complain if somebody comes up and goes, you know, how you doing today? What's going on with you? And you go, oh, I'm
Right.
okay. Well, they're going to
Right.
treat you as if you're okay.
Right.
When
Exactly.
it comes down to it, I I would rather you be honest with me and tell me that something's wrong. That
Right.
way, I know how to show up with you.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to show
Mm-hmm.
up in that space with you. I know how to speak life to you because the last thing I want you to do is feel as if someone else is going to try to talk down on you. I'm not, no, I don't want you to feel that way or feel as if you got to go through this battle alone. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Mm-hmm.
what it sounds like you did. You know, here you are, you know, you come home and your house is empty, right? You know what I'm saying? Like another gut punch, like boom, you know. And then the first time he was in a mental hospital, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
now going backwards a little bit, how did you end up in the mental hospital?
How I
I
ended
guess
up
that's the part. Yeah.
how I ended up there was like in during the situation of the marriage. It was getting rocky. I could say that due to my some of my
Mm,
mental health, but also just regular relationship stuff, just trying to work through it, get through it, and just life be life in. You have kids, just trying to be a man, just trying to navigate through. You're going through your own stuff with your trauma and your past history, um, your ex's stuff where they got their bag and you had got this all on your shoulder. So I was feel like I was carrying everything, even though I mean the crazy thing, even though I had God in the midst, it was like, yo, I'm still carrying all this and didn't know how to like navigate through it. But also, I mean, I'm going to church, I'm doing everything. I'm praying, I'm fasting, uh, and me and her, trying to work things out and stuff. So it got to the point when I was carrying everything, and I just something broke in me. I was like, yo, I'm not good, and I was like, yo, I need to go get some help. And I think this time she had left, like kind of we were separated, and then it was just like, okay, all right. Then I felt this. It hit me. The depression had hit me real bad. I would have anxiety and different things, and it just hit me. I said, sat in the car, and I was like, by this river, I just drove. I was like, I'm about to do this, and I already knew what I was gonna do. But luckily, somebody had called me, and they had called I told them, I said, yo, I'm done. Like, I'm about to take myself out. So they had called and the police and they came and got me and stuff like that. And it was the best thing that ever happened because it was like, and it was actually my ex that called. That was a crazy thing. Um, even though we was separated. So she called and everything, and I went to the hospital. It was scary at first. I ain't gonna lie. It was scary because I didn't know, but I was just too far gone. Like I just knew I needed to get help, however that was. Because think about it, when we go to, uh, when we get in trouble or we gonna call 911 or get emergency, we don't care how we get fixed or the doctor, but you need to just fix them, doc. And but we trust and believe that they're gonna get us right. So I just trusted the process and went through something. I started getting better, started eating right, and just started working on my mindset and just little exercises they had in the place. And I just accepted their process. And how I got there was like I, I was so afraid of dying. And like I say this when it comes to suicidal thoughts, it's like it's not the point that I wanted to die. It was like I was just tired of the pain. So the pain was so heavy that like I just didn't care about life anymore. Where I got to the point like, okay, well you got to go get some help. Even if you can't do it yourself, at least get to yourself to the starting line and just crawl. And somebody gotta give you what you need. So that's what happened to me. And I'm just like I'm so blessed that it happened to me because I've been on this journey and it helped me to get to where I'm at now.
yeah. Man, that is truly amazing, man. I know there's some people out there, maybe somebody listening, maybe there's something like that, that may be out there struggling right now. And I know because I've been there. I think we've all
Yeah,
been there. We all got to get to that point, um, of just feeling like we've fallen off that cliff before we actually ask for help. And some people don't even do that. You know what I'm saying? You look at the
right.
statistics between men and everything, and before I go on, man, I just want to say, man, thank you for choosing life. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
glad to have you here. I'm glad to have you on my show, man.
thank you.
That is amazing. And those men out there, that are struggling, or anybody for that matter, that's struggling, and you to that point where you feel like you want to give up. Look at the man on this screen right here. He is a prime example, of what it looks like if you do decide to keep going.
Yeah,
He's a true inspiration, man. I know people go
yeah.
through divorces all the time, and I know for men, for some of the men out there, if you truly care for the individual that you was with, it can be a very, very tough journey, man. A very
Mm-hmm,
tough journey.
mm-hmm.
So thank you for choosing life,
Yeah,
man. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah,
and the work that you do now, because I saw it, like I said, I saw some of your, saw your motivational speeches on your YouTube video. For you
yeah,
guys out there, man, his links down below. Check out his YouTube videos. The man is amazing.
yeah.
Um, how did you get into
Thank you.
motivational speaking?
I think for me, I've been doing it for a while anyway because I'm a barber by trade. I've been barbering for 11 years, so I've
Right,
been
right.
speaking anyway. But dude behind the chair and motivating people, inspiring them, and listening to them, and all these things. So I've been doing it for a while, but it's decided to take it like more serious to take it from beyond the chair. So just I always read. I always
Mm,
I guess wanted to get in the space per se, but just finding my lane. But I think it's more when I went to um, the Atlanta speaking conference, it helped me out a lot to navigate like, okay, how I want to go, where I want to go about it, how I want to do it. And just find myself. I was just navigating through it. And it took and the crazy thing is when I went, I was working my job and they was like, "Oh, you can't go." And it was like trying to navigate through that. Like I took some days off, and it was ahead of time too, trying to be a good employee and say, "Well, I want to take these days off." But
mhm.
just because I wanted to better myself, they was mad at me, and I was like, "No, I'm good." So they actually, while I was at the conference, they fired me. Like they literally fired me. And I was like, okay, this got to be nothing but God because then even at the job, I was feeling agitated and different things like that. So it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So I knew I was supposed to do this purpose work because it's men out there that's dying, it's pastors out there that's dying, it's young men that are out there dying. They need to hear my message because God didn't give me this for a reason. It's for me to impact men, but also be able to have these conversations and know that still we as men, we're still human too. And we want to have these conversations to help heal. Because I learned
Yes.
heal men. Like heal men. Because
Mm,
once you're healed and you start to become the best version of yourself, now you can heal other people and help them out. God, and I know that God gave you the anointing and the grace to do it. So me being an affirmation coach, I want to just normally just speak life into men. Like yeah, I think yesterday I was talking to a young man yesterday. He was more like I guess he was just like this, not per se a gangster or thug, but he just had that aura about him. But he was cool. And I was cutting his hair, we was talking and everything. He was just more saying like we was talking
yeah.
about relationship, and he said he just, his girl. I said he was talking about his girl just broke up. He got 2, 3 kids, and he was just saying like, man, it was my. He was like, I said, who fault was it? He was like, man, it was my fault because I'm out there doing what I do. I said, man, I understand and I get it. And we just had a more of a candid conversation. I just told him just continue on your path. I said sometimes because he was in another place, he was from somewhere else, and he moved to a new spot. And I told him, I said, you did good because you got an environment where you was at. And I said, uh if you're a smoker and if it's 5 smokers and you stay around that, you're gonna be the sixth. So he said, I get that because I said you change your environment to get around what you need. Even if you got to be alone for a minute, God gonna bring the things that you need to be in the right around the right men to hone it. And I was telling him backstory of my experience of like suicide and my anxiety and depression, and just going vulnerable with him. He's like, man, I get that. And it made him look at a different perspective of what a man is and how to communicate. And I said, you ain't weak for going to go get therapy, just putting stuff on him to give him perspective of like just showing up different. He was like, man, I like that. And he felt lighter when he left. So even though I do the haircutting, but it's still me doing my purpose work too. So yeah.
See, I love that, man. Yeah, man. I definitely love that because you actually took the time to let him know, man, like the things that and correct me if I'm wrong, but you was pretty much telling him the things that you thought that you knew about being a man, what I'm saying, is totally, like you've been misled. This is what it's
Right,
like,
right,
right? You know what I'm saying?
right.
Because when we both speaking men, man. Yeah, we both speaking to men. We both trying to get them to open up. And for the longest time, I fell under that stipulation too. You know what I'm saying? Or that
Mm,
stigma. You know, it's not manly to talk. It's not manly to be vulnerable. It's not manly
yeah.
to show weakness or anything of that nature. And so yeah, I kept a lot of those things in. Um, until I found my voice, right?
Right. Yeah. That's
And
just
that's what I
yeah.
like to call it. It's
Yeah.
like finding my voice,
Mhm, mhm.
because for the longest time, I didn't want to talk to people.
Mm.
My motto was, if I don't let you get close to me, you can't hurt me. You
Yeah,
dig
that's
what I'm
true.
saying?
That's
If I
true.
don't let
That's
you get
true.
close to me, you can't hurt me.
Right, right.
So yeah. And I
I'm gonna say,
figured,
I'm gonna tell you.
why
Go
waste
ahead.
my
I'm
time getting to know
right.
someone? Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, I had to go to the when you talk about the voice, that is very important. That authority piece. I feel like we as men, we have the like. It's kind of like what God did in the garden. He gave Adam authority over the garden, and then even God had His own authority because He spoke things and it just became. And I feel like we have that in us to do with our kids, with our life. That's why we speak. He spoke life into us and we just became. That's the same thing you do for yourself. That's the same thing we do for your kids. Like the kids, your kids look for us, your wife, your partner look for that too. Like, but also for me, I've learned with the whole speaking thing, it helps it helps me to grow. It helps my character. And when you was talking about the whole authority piece, I really, really connect with that because I go back to the root of when I was a little boy. And I remember a time when I was in school, first grade, my teacher, um, I had a pretty decent day, but my mom just got, when I was going to school, my mom just got finished like cussing me out and fussing me out and all those things. So I had that pressure of that. And, my mom going through divorce and separation and all those things. She putting that all on me as a young boy at 9 years old, first grade. So in first grade, then I went to school carrying that. So I'm frustrated, I'm mad, I'm upset, and all these things like that. And then I was literally crying when I was in school. I really was crying that day. And then like the kids was picking on me and stuff like, oh, he over there crying, he's snotting and stuff. But my teacher literally put me to the side. So what I learned out of that, and I didn't know this, that me as a black man or me as a man in general, you supposed to be put to the side. You supposed to not be cared for. You're not supposed to be loved for. You're not supposed to be um, looked after. You're supposed to just do what you do. I'm not gonna care about you. I don't love you. I'm not gonna be nurturing to you. So I learned at an early age just be silent, to shrink myself, to be quiet, don't show up. And then
Hmm.
that was so
Hmm.
pivotal for me. So now that I am who I am, I worked on myself, and now I show up different, and I'm speaking, I'm communicating because I've done the work. A lot of people can't handle it; they can't, and I'm okay. I'm cool with it, but I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna still show up as me
True.
because I can't shrink
Yeah.
myself anymore. Even when I had moments with my mom, like because she used to take up the room, I'm gonna say that, and because she used to fuss and cuss, and it made me scared of her.
Yeah.
But once I started doing my work, and I start expressing myself and talking to her and communicating with her, she really don't know how to handle it because she's not used to that. She's used to the old version of me, and it was like um I got to the point I just got tired of just not showing up. And I remember moments when she would talk. I'm a grown man. I mean, we having a grown conversation. I noticed even and I'm in relationships with relationships and myself, I shrink back into the little boy every time she would talk. I mean, every time I'm like, I'm a grown man, got my own bills, I'm in
Mm.
relationships, married, and all this thing, but I shrink back into a little boy, and I shouldn't have to do that. But that would be due to the root of the things that I was shown growing up, but also in my like with my dad and my stepdad, they didn't show up in the relationships either. That and that's the pattern. So they never showed up. They never showed up and never showed me how to in conflict. They didn't show me anything. So I learned this on my own. And through God helping me, I just like, okay, every time when a conflict comes, I'm supposed to run. Or every time I feel like they're about to abandon me, I'm supposed to run or rejection or whatever that looks like. But conflict is still healthy, but that really sees how a person's character is too. So they didn't show me that. I just learned that on my own, but I was learning like the pattern of how my dad and them did things. I was like, I just decided I just got to do it different. So yeah.
Right. Oh man, you know what? You touched on my heart that on that one right there. You know what I'm saying? First of all, showing up, right? And then going back into that little boy and stuff like that. Man, I've
Mm-hmm.
done that so many times when before I found myself, because like you
Yeah.
said, like you mentioned in the beginning, when you're going through something tough, man, people don't understand it. You're going to lose all of these different things, but the hardest
Mm-hmm.
thing to get back is yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you're going to go on this journey and you're going to take it so personal, right? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I did. I took my journey personal, and I know so many other men that took their journey personal. I
Right.
now can look back on it and go, man, my journey wasn't even about me. So how
Yeah.
can I take it personal? It's no longer personal for me, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, and I was just telling somebody this. Now, my journey has put me under contract.
Mm.
And now, what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that, right? You know what I'm saying? So, my journey and my gift has put me under, like, my gift has put me under contract with God to fulfill and manifest my full potential to put it out into the world. You know what I'm saying? And then, on the other sense, you know what I'm saying? I'm under contract with the people I come in contact with. Not only do I owe me, but I also owe them to show up 100, 100, and 200%. Every time I'm in your
Right.
space, I need to show up, right? You know what I'm saying? And I need to, you know what I'm saying? I need to be present with you in that space. So you know
Mm-hmm.
that I'm there with you. I'm no longer retreating back into my old self. That old self don't
I like
exist no more.
that.
It's still there. I still
Yeah.
hear it. But I'm no longer retreating. You dig what I'm saying? I'm no longer running back to him because for one, the
Right.
little boy that used to be afraid is now a grown man. You dig what I'm saying? He had to grow up
Yeah.
and heal. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not retreating from this. I'm now walking forward with that contract in hand, and I'm saying to myself, I am going to fulfill this.
That's good.
This is now my job to to fulfill my contract with you. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
And every individual I come in contact with, I have their own individual contract with them, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what I mean, man. Like you hit the nail on the head. You brought it home right there, and I was just like, man, I feel that. I feel that right there. You know what I'm saying? That contract, man. I, it ain't no
The
stopping,
quit the
man. It
quit
ain't no stopping. I'm
the
showing
quit.
up.
Yeah. The
Go ahead.
the question I ask myself is sometimes I say, what will happen if I didn't show up? What will happen? So I take the limited
Right,
belief
right,
off of
right.
it. What will happen if I didn't show up? What happened if I don't do this? What happened if I don't do my purpose work? Like I ask myself these things. What happened if I don't become this best version of me? What happens if I don't communicate? Because now this is we talking about
Mm,
patterns, we're talking about habits, we're talking about legacy, we're talking about our family, we're talking about your kids now. So when you start thinking on that level, it just hit different
mm,
anyway. So what happens if I don't wake up? Like what happens if I don't? What if I stay here? What if I just stay here and just die, don't do nothing, and never live up to what I'm supposed to be? And it's like really uh, God is calling us out on this now. Like, and it's not even worried about anybody else. So what another man's race or story is, or anybody else doing, it's like, what is he calling you to do right now? It could be little steps. That's even when I got on the journey and I was like, I mean, at my lowest, the first thing I did was I said, Lord, I need your help. And the thing I did, I started doing that. I know this might be simple. I started doing push-ups. So I was like, Lord, I
Oh
want to do
man.
100 push-ups. So every single day I just showed up. So I did 5 push-ups the first day. The next day I did 10. Then I did 20, 30. Next time I'm doing 50 and just being consistent. For the next 30 days, I'm gonna just do push-ups. Then I end up getting to 100 and I'm doing these push-ups over and over and over. And then I started seeing my physical body change. I'm like, oh, now, oh, my arms getting bigger, my chest getting bigger. Oh, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better, and that started me to keep going and going and end up, where I'm at now, and continue to keep growing and changing and evolving, because it just start with the little things. Like, it doesn't, I mean, even through prayer and everything, but just the little things will get you there, and that still is an impact because you're trying and you put in the work. So I know, even though at the time, like, man, I don't want to
Right,
I
right.
don't want to give up, but I was like, man, some days I didn't want to do it. But it was to the point, even if I didn't do a full push-up, I would do girl push-ups, and it still pushed me through to continue to keep going, because I showed up and just try. It's just
Yeah.
trying and to do the work. So yeah.
See, that's the thing though, man. You have to at least try, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I started learning when I started listening to Inky Johnson, and you know what I'm saying, Ray Lewis and Eric
Right.
Thomas and all of those guys, man. Like whenever I used to listen to them, it always sounded like they was talking to me. When
Right.
you gonna show
Right.
up? You know what I'm saying? How come you not giving 120%? And it felt
Mm-hmm.
like that they was
Mm-hmm.
talking to me. So I was like, who you talking to? Like I used to take it personal. Who you talking to? I watch this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they can't. I,
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
even met these
Yeah.
dudes before, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm feeling like I'm taking it personal. Like, who you talking to like that? And I'm just
Right.
listening
Right.
to them,
Right.
right? Like, okay, you want me to show? I'm about to show up. You want me to go hit the gym? I'm about to go hit the gym. You want me to
Right.
do this? I'm about to go do this. Like, I'm gonna show you. Like, you can't sit around and talk to me like that, and then and I can easily
Right.
turn it off,
Right.
right?
Right. They check
But
that
it was
ego
like
right there.
for me, it was yeah, it was checking my ego, it was putting my ego in check, right? And I'm listening to him. And you know what I'm saying? I remember Eric Thomas came out with that speech about being a beast. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like, everybody want to be a beast, but don't nobody want to do what beasts do. Everybody wants to enjoy
Ooh.
the prize, but the real thing about beasts is that beasts enjoy the hunt. You dig what I'm saying? So then it changed my whole perspective on things. It
Yeah.
changed
Yeah.
everything about me. I was like, man, I'm going through this thing. And you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And this thing has been beating me down. But I know that there's something on the other side. So, you know what I'm saying? I switched everything over into beast mode. I began to chase it. I,
Mm.
I began to chase it as if it owed me, because it did. It owed me answers. It owed me a chance at something other than the pain that I was feeling. You owe me.
Yeah.
I'm going through this. You owe me. So I started running after it, man. I started running after it. And you know what I'm saying? I remember a speech that Ika Johnson said, or a quote that he said. He goes, "What are you gonna do when God tells you no?"
Mm.
Oh, and you
Yeah.
know, you know what I'm saying? When you
Yeah.
when you chasing that thing, man, and you get told no, what do you do? Right?
Yeah.
I said, oh, you mean no? And so in my mind, I switched it around to not right now. It was no longer a no to me. It was like not right now. So everything that I was
Right.
pursuing, even though you know what I'm saying, even though it's not in my grasp, it just means that it's not going to happen right now. So that I can't excuse myself. I can't excuse myself from the journey. I can't excuse myself from the process. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
this is this is my time to go. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I can't have this right now, but I know I can have it a little bit later. So which direction I need to go in order to get back to where I need to be? You know what I'm saying? Which is right there where I'm looking at. I see it. Okay, what else I need to do? So
Yeah.
it was like it just became this thing, man. It just became this thing, and the process, like you was mentioning before, the process. I fell in love with the process even
Mhm,
before I knew what the process was.
mhm, mhm.
Now on the journey, you know what I'm saying? In on the journey, while I'm going, the process revealed itself to me, right?
Yeah.
And when it revealed itself to me, I really fell in love with it then. You know, and
Yeah.
for those people out there that don't understand, you know, you have to go through it in order to understand it. Because if a person told you, you'll never believe it. It's so simple, but yet so complex that you know what I'm saying. Like the concept of it will fall through your fingers if you didn't understand it. And it's just that simple, right? I was
Yeah.
just like, man, really? And I've been, you know, like I said, man, just like yourself. I mean, I want to see some of these people, you know, live because I want to meet them and tell them how much they inspired me, man. You know, and things like that just by listening to them. You know, but you did something, you know, what I'm saying amazing. You actually went and saw Eric Thomas and Inky Johnson, you know what I'm saying, when he was speaking, right?
Yeah. 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 I'm gonna add to what you were saying. I love what you were saying.
And
Like,
then,
um, most people want what it looks like, but not what it feels like. They want what it looks like, but not what it feels like, because
mm, mm,
you gotta think about it.
right.
It comes at a cost to get to where you at. It's a cost. That mantle,
Oh,
that
you already
oil,
know.
it comes at a cost. So you can't tell me what I went
Mm,
through or what I've been through to get to this point where I'm at. And I'm being very intentional about how I show up and how I move and how I do things, because it took a cost for me to get here. So you can't talk to me any type of way. You can't just do me any type of way. You can't just show up in my life any type of way. Now I can have boundaries now. Now God is showing me things now. He's opened my
yeah,
eyes. I can
yeah,
communicate. I'm clear now about things that I have going on. So you just can't just do anything with me now, because I know my worth. I know my value. Um, and I know how I'm going to show up. I know what they say. I know what I'm going to bring to the table. And I ain't even saying I'm trying to build a whole table or
right,
nothing like
right.
that, but I know what I'm bringing to the table. I know what I'm bringing into this relationship. I know what I'm bringing to as a man. I know how I'm showing up now, because I did the work. I did the work. Whether you see it or not, I done the work. And I know I done the work, because it's different when you're going through, because in them times when you're going through the crushing, you going by you baptized. We're on that potter wheel. God is shaping us and how we need to be, and you know that we got to go through the elements of the shaping. Then we got to go in the furnace and get hard and all these things. But during the shaping process, it ain't gonna feel good. It's gonna be more like, okay, God is like, okay, I need to move this in place. Oh, that hurt because that cracked, or my shoulder's out of place, or whatever that is, like, because He's shaping us and molding us. Because it ain't gonna feel good in the shaping part. It ain't gonna feel good at all. It's gonna hurt. So, but
Right,
the
right,
product
right.
after it is good,
A
because
little
now you can
bit.
be used now. You can be used now. You definitely can be used now in the
Yeah,
proper way. And now you
yeah.
heal. So now with that powder, after it's done, it done got hard. It was soft. Now it got hard. Now it's shaped. Now the capacity of what you can have. Now you have the grace to pour and continue to pour. Like, I'm telling you, man. Like, woo.
Man, that's that. Look, man, I can relate to that on so many levels. You know, like it's like, you know, when you ask yourself, or you know, what I'm saying, you ask God, what more is required of me so that I can do more, right? You know what I'm saying? Like when I identified my gift and I learned what it was, I began to beat on it. right? You know what I'm saying? I began to beat on it, beat on it, and beat on it every day. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even if it drug me through I'm beating on it. I'm beating on it because I know this is who I am. You know what I'm saying? You called me. I'm here now. You know, like, and I know it's mine. I now know what I'm supposed to do in this world, right? And it was like now I don't even have to question it no more. I
Yeah.
get up. My gift says, "Who needs me today?" And I'm looking for people who needs this thing that I'm carrying with me today, right? You know what I'm saying? What more is required of me so I can give more? What more do you need from me so I can give more? You know what I'm saying? So that's always my question when I get up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? If the good Lord lets me open up my eyes, you know what I'm saying, I'm able to see another day. I said, Father, what is required of me
Right.
today
Hmm.
so that I can do more and
Hmm.
give you the glory? Because without you, I wouldn't be sitting here, you know? And he just provides, man. He provides those people for me. You know what I'm saying? Like when I go places, I never ask what can a person do for me. I always ask who needs this. What can I do for this person? You know what I'm saying? What does this person? How do I need to show up for you? But like you said, you also have to have boundaries too, because you know what I'm saying. For every level, there's a different devil, and I've been on many different levels. And the devil
Yeah.
then showed up on each and every last one of them. You did what I'm saying? He just showed up on each and every last one of them. And every time he showed up, you know what I'm saying? I'm just getting better at seeing them now. You
Yeah.
know, I'm
Yeah.
getting better at seeing them. We're getting better at listening to the warnings, heeding the warnings and stuff that come to me when, you know what I'm saying, I go to another, hey, this person over here, you need to watch. Okay. What
Yeah.
direction you need me to go in? I need you to step up over here because I got something different for you. Don't pay no attention to what's going on over here. Not a problem. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'm out. And so, I've showed up, man. I've seen it, man. And it sounds like, on your journey, you've seen many, many devils along the way, but you also have seen the many, many blessings as well. I mean, like I said, man, the blessings that you have seen and the work that you're doing now and being a motivational speaker and helping others, like that work has to be so fulfilling.
Yeah. 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 It is very fulfilling. It's also, I say this quote. I said, "I'm grateful, but I never settle. I'm grateful, but I never settle.
Yes.
I'm grateful for the opportunity. Like even I'm being so honest. Like being vulnerable. I'm so honest. I thank you for even just being on the podcast. Like he didn't have to allow me to do this. He didn't have to allow us to connect. He didn't have to allow us for me to do the work to show for me for you to want me to be on. I appreciate it so much because this is crazy how I wrote it down. I said, Lord, I want to be on podcasts. I want to start my own and different things. Like I didn't know what it looks like. I just started reaching out and doing the work and still honing my skills, talking and just doing what I do and then reaching out to people while also, some people said no, some people whatever might not fit and it's still cool. Like you said, the no might no is not a no, just be not right now. So that's how I had to look at it. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
right, right.
God, I'm I'm so grateful for just this opportunity. I'm grateful for just being able to speak. I'm grateful for just even be able to hold space. I'm grateful for these things, and I'm proud of myself. And God, I know God is proud of me. But I just told God, I said, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle because I know it's more. It's more work He want me to do. More work. I need to speak to
Right,
people
right,
because I don't know what
right,
it's going to go at, and I'm okay. Like I said, like we said, we I fell in love with the process and the journey. Like it's not a goal. It's not. It's a destination. It's a journey.
right, right.
It's a whole journey, and I'm just enjoying every bits and piece of it. And I told her, I said I want to continue on my journey to continue to enjoy the process. Like I'm just enjoying it because I've never been in a place where I enjoyed it. It's always like, oh, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling up, and I'm literally living the scripture of like it doesn't matter what that scripture about the birds, and they not worried about what's going on, the animals not worried about. I'm literally living that scripture. I'm get up every day, I'm walking into greatness. Every time I wake up, I say I'm about to walk into greatness. So it's like, Lord, I need you every single day. And what the Lord wants us to do is, even though we have everything going on in this world, is talking about this whole Israel thing and this gender war and all this thing, I wake up and say, Lord, I need you today. Give me my daily bread. The reason why I say that is because now I'm not worried about anything else. Because literally, I'm gonna tell you a backstory. It was one time I was, I think I was homeless at this time. I needed to get something to eat or whatever the case may be. And I was like really hungry. I didn't have no money at the time. Starting over, whatever, that was from my divorce and everything. And I literally was hungry that day. I said, Lord, I need you. I really want something to eat. So I came to work and I didn't eat all pretty much till my shift. And I got finished sleeping in my car and all this thing. I got some shelter. I went in there to work. I said, man, Lord, I need something to eat. So literally, the manager came in. He said, today, I'm buying pizza today. I said, look at God. So there was nothing but God on that. So I seen him in different things like that. Like for real, like I seen him do that. That's small, but it's
Right.
still, it was like, yo, I'm grateful for that. So my life has just been that type of testimony, like, because everything, he gonna give you what you need and what you want, regardless of what it looks like. Mostly what you need, because it's gonna bring character, and different things in your life to see him through it. So that was, even though that might be small to somebody, but that was big for me because I knew I was it. And exactly when I was talking to, we was in this group and we was talking about the where we was at in life, more about like, we asked like, how you doing from 1 to 10? And the guy, he was talking about how like, I want to be a 10. And he was like, I said, I'm an 8. And pretty much everybody in the group was an 8. He's like, man, I want to get to a 10. I want to get to a 10. I want to get to a 9 or get to this 10. And I told him, he asked me, he said, why? He said, are you satisfied with your 8? I said, yes. I said, I remember the times when I was a 0. I remember the times when I was a 1. I remember the times when I was a 2. So I'm good with my 8. I'm grateful for my 8 because 9 and 10 means it's just overflow. It's just overflow. So I'm a settle with my 8 because I'm grateful for my 8.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was a 5, I was halfway
Man,
there. Because when I was at a
that's big
0,
right there.
I'm like, man, at least let me get to a 1. At least let me get to a 2. Have some
This is
type of
a
hope.
half of one anyway.
Yeah, at least the halfway mark.
Man, look, man, I can relate to that on so many levels. Yeah, I can relate to that on so many levels, man. You know, just like yourself, I was homeless. You know, I think it was the worst time I've been homeless, right? I think this was number 15, number 16, somewhere around there. So I've been homeless a total of 18 times out of my life. So number 15,
Right,
number
right.
16, somewhere around there, the longest I ever been on the streets, you know. And this time was like 2.5 years, you know. It was pretty bad. It wasn't like,
Right.
you know, and I wasn't on drugs. I wasn't doing
Right,
drugs. I
right,
wasn't
right,
doing
right.
anything. Just nothing worked out. Nothing was working out, you know. I had just left the games, you know what I'm saying? And they told me, it was like, hey, you can never come back to the hood anymore. So whatever happens to you out there, you're gonna have to handle it. And so I don't have any family, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. And I just remember, man, I can't go home. I can't go back to the hood. I got to figure this thing out. Where am I supposed to go? I just
Right.
remember walking around. And then 1 hour turned into a day turned into a week turned into months, and those months turned into years. You know what I'm saying? It just
Mm-hmm.
seemed like it was nonstop. It was times I was going, you know, uh, a week and a half, 2 weeks without eating. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It got to a point to where, you know what I'm saying, I used to hang out by like the restaurants and stuff and wait for them to throw stuff out, right? And then when they
Right.
wasn't looking, I go rip open the bag and, you know what I'm saying, take something out of there, throw the bag back in the dumpster. That was who I was. You know what I'm saying? It was bad, man. And then I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you. It was one day in the middle of a storm. I was under a bridge with this other homeless dude. I had started drinking, you know, and we was drinking on some hard alcohol just to stay warm a little bit. I was so bad off. the homeless dude that I was with gave me his coat. Because I was out there with a t-shirt on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was like, man, you need this. You know, it looked like some New Jack City stuff. We had the old trash can, the metal trash can had a fire going, so sleeping underneath the bridge. It was snowing outside and everything. Bad old snowstorm, man. And I was done. I was like, man, I'm not doing this no more. You know, I was this close to giving up that time. I was like, I'm done. I can't do it no more. Nothing's working out for me. I can't find a job. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm not putting in applications, but no one's going to hire me because I look like I belong on the daggone streets, right? I'm dirty, I'm funky, and all of these things. And the only thing I'm asking for is a chance, right? And nobody's even giving me that because I look like an old rundown gangbanger on drugs or some stuff,
right?
You know. And they were like, hey, we're gonna give you a drug test. Okay, give me a drug test. I'm not doing drugs. They did, and no one wanted to believe me. We never even got past that point. I would tell you how good the journey started, right? So during that time, it was in the middle of the snowstorm, in the middle of early morning. I had dozed off and something woke me up. And when it woke me up, the voice said, walk this way. I said, huh? Walk that way. And somehow, some way, I got up and I started walking. Now, mind you, it's in the middle of a damn blizzard. There's a blizzard going on. I ain't got nothing but a t-shirt. But yet I wasn't cold. And I just walked. That's all I remember. I just walked. Blindly, right? And I must have been walking for some hours, man, because I ended up clear on the other side of town. And I got to a certain spot, and the voice said, stop. I stopped, and you know what I'm saying? That's when reality came to, like, it's still snowing out here, man. This is crazy. But there was a Safeway off on my left-hand side. And I went in, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I'm gonna go over here and sit under this little awning right here, you know what I'm saying? And see what happens next. So about 30 minutes go by, the sun's starting to come up. I'm starting to see people crowd around this building. So I'm looking at them, I'm like, I wonder what that is, right? You know what I'm saying? I walk around the building, it's a doggone labor ready. So one of those, work today, pay today places. I walked in there and I filled out the application. Next thing you know, I go out on the job. I got $40-some in my pocket, man. Not enough to get a hotel room, but at least I can get a little bit of food. So I spent like $5-6 getting some food. You know what I'm saying? Left me $40-some in my pocket. I did that for about 2 weeks. And after that 2 weeks, I'm gonna tell you, man, this is the crazy part. After that 2 weeks, I landed a job working at the post office, making $110 a day. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah, so now I got enough money to get a hotel room. I can now, you know what I'm saying, go get me some clothes. I went and bought myself some glasses. I went and bought myself socks, shoes, you know what I'm saying, all of the essentials that I needed. Some bubble bath because I wasn't taking no shower. I'm about to
sit in this bathtub
before I go jump in this bed.
Right.
I need some water on me. Right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you talking about the feeling of gratitude and being humble. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like what we said before, man. God may not, you know what I'm saying? When God shows up, he shows up. He may not show up when you want him to, but he shows up when he needs to. In the whole process of going through that, there's a whole storyline behind it, you know? But the whole process of going to it, I realized what he had done. He had taken away the things out of me that I didn't need anymore.
Right.
My ego, my pride. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff was gone. My ties and stuff. He took all of that stuff away from me. And he made me like a child. He made me vulnerable to a new experience. He got me to a point to where I had to depend on him. And I had to trust him.
Yep. That's true relationship.
I don't
true
trust
relationship.
Nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, yeah, that's what it was like. And I was like, how you want me to trust you when I come from a place where I don't trust nobody? Because the same people that I tried to trust tried to kill me. Why would I want to? He was like, no, I'm different. I'm different. You can trust me. I was like, how can I trust you? Watch what I got for you. Then you tell me if you can trust me. And ever since then, man, yeah, of course I have my ups and downs, my
Yeah,
battle
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
addiction, being an alcoholic and everything like that, you know. But I will tell you, man, I can't remember a time where he didn't keep his promise to me.
Yeah, yeah,
I cannot remember a time when he keeps his promise to
yeah.
me.
Because I think for me,
So we're gonna get
I think for me, my uncle was like, because I well, I'll say my addiction was like, it was more of like the porn stuff for me. So it was like, but then I had to go back and had the reason why it
mhm.
was more because when stress comes and life things happen, that's what I related to. So that's just me being vulnerable. But that was the like one of the biggest things for me. Sometimes you still navigating or sometimes it show up, but now more aware and how to deal with things like that. And like you said, I'm learning it's to really in them low moments he really wants you to depend on him, and it's all about the relationship. And I know because he wants more of your time now.
Yeah.
Now you have no place when you get low like that, you have no place but to go up because he is showing you like the things that you need, he gonna give it to you because it's like the stuff that you was doing before, it was like you just depending on yourself or other people. But he's like, depend on me now. And once you fully surrender and give him everything, now you can sustain everything too. Like because you have a full relationship with him. Because when I was taught up
Yes.
growing up, it was just we was just all religious or just not say per se spiritual, but just religious. I just pray it away, not without no work or just do this and do that. And it was just so religious to the point like, but we didn't have no relationship with him because I was literally one time I had an anxiety attack at church one time because I was like, I seen how my mom would show up in church. So it'd be like, well, we going to church. She cussing us out before we go to church. Then go home, go to the church shouting and all this whole Holy Ghost and all stuff. Then go back home to the same thing. And I start to look at um, the church different like after that, and I didn't know how much that affected me either. So it was like okay, and other stuff. But just I said, yo, like then now I really hone into my relationship with him. He talks to me. I spend time with him. The only way you know him is by spending time with him. Even it's either two things: either when he call you to purpose, or you have the anointing on your life, and he of course he's gonna separate you. But the way he separates you, you got to be willing to do it because you either two things: you either do it yourself or allow like you be willing to do it, or he gonna do it for you, and you don't want him to do it. You don't want him to do it because it don't
Yeah.
feel good. I mean,
Ooh,
he
man.
break, and then when he break you down, he break you all
Man,
the way
look.
down to the lowest, so you have nothing but to depending on him.
Mm-mm.
Like you said, sleeping in your car, that's low. You taking no shower, that's low. Now you great. Look, now you grateful for a shower.
Yeah,
Look, now you grateful for your
man.
car.
Hey, look,
That look, that might have been your only
mm,
shelter, but
look,
I'm
man.
thankful for that. I got a roof on my head. Like you just so grateful. You just
Yeah,
so grateful. I'm grateful for even just waking up. I'm grateful for even be able to read this book. Matter of fact, I'm grateful for even just to wake up and breathe, and even though I'm sleeping in my car to get out and go to work. Like that's how grateful you are. And you literally is literally
man,
instained in your heart and your mind that's why I'm saying I'm
man,
grateful with my 8. Because I remember when I was at a 0. I'm
man.
grateful
Look,
for it.
man. Look, I told you, man. When he had me at a 0, I said, "All I need is a 1. Can you give that? Give me a
Right.
quarter of the 1. I'm good with that, right? I
Right.
didn't even ask that. But then when you look back on it, right? I had it. I actually had it, right? I was just too
Right.
blind to see. I was too busy playing a victim
Right.
that
Right.
I realized that, what I'm saying, I was never a victim. I was being redirected. See, when I said I
Mhm.
needed to get away from over here, he got me away from over there. And like you said, I
Right.
just didn't like the way he did it. I figured
Right.
we could have
Right.
talked about it or something. We could have talked about this, But no, man, I was, I'm truly grateful of the journey, man. I'm truly grateful for everything that was given, um, because he didn't have to, right? Um, I'm truly grateful of the story. And plus, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm truly grateful for you as well. Reaching out to me, saying, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I got a story. I was like, and I'm sitting up here trying, and I know there was times where I was like, man, I got to get back with him, and other things would come up, and I'm just like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
man,
yeah,
I
yeah.
dropped the ball. I dropped the ball. You kept hitting me up, man. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your consistency when reaching out to me, saying, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Let's schedule something. Cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then when we finally did, I realized it was the timing, right?
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So we connected exactly when we needed to.
Right,
And
right.
you know what I'm saying? And now look at us, man. So, like
Yeah,
just like how you're grateful, I am so humbled to have you on. I'm so humbled that you came on and shared your story, man.
yeah.
Such an amazing journey.
I want
We're
to
gonna
say
go
this
ahead.
too. I'm gonna say this too. We're so used to. We can get so used to the. We can get so used to the committed. We can be committed to the familiar discomfort and not worry about the comfortability of an impossible thing. Like we can be
Mm,
so committed to a process or a thinking or a way or a habit that we're committed to it, even though it's familiar and it's a discomfort. Because sometimes we get so comfortable in the discomfort and familiar with it that it's always a new possibility.
right,
But
right.
we have to go through discomfort. But the key word is committed. That's the word I got. It's committed.
Mm,
Sometimes we're so committed to the wrong thing, or we're so committed to the familiar that it's
mm.
so discomfort that it's agitating us, but we still want to stay there.
Oh yeah, you already know, man. You already know, and man,
But it's another possibility on the other side, though.
it's always another possibility, man. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes just because you don't see the possibility or the
Mhm.
opportunity, you know what I'm saying, doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means
Right,
that you don't see it at the moment. And
right,
sometimes you don't see it till you right up on it. But if you know what I'm saying, if you're not really paying or looking for it, you're gonna walk right past it. I've done
right,
that several
right,
times too. I've walked past my opportunities, man, and got further down the line. Was like, I had to look
yeah,
back, like,
yeah,
hold on, man. I'm gonna have to go back and get this. Hey, y'all go ahead. I'll be back. They were like, where you going? Opportunity. My
right, right,
opportunity is like that. I
right,
got to go grab that real quick. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So
right,
it was a lot of me walking past the opportunities, getting miles down the road and turn around like, hold on, man, I gotta go back. And people are like, what you going back there for? Because I missed
right,
something. I missed something. See, what I'm doing right now is I'm repeating the cycle over in my life, and I missed something. I think I walked right past it. So I had to go
right,
back and I had to go through that, right? In order to change what I kept going through to break that repetitive cycle,
right,
I had to go back in and I had to go back in and face that thing. And once I faced it, that repetitive cycle would come in a different form, but then I wouldn't miss it anymore. I was like, oh, I see you now.
right.
You just changed spaces. That's the only thing you did.
Mm,
Okay, we're not gonna play this game no more. We're not gonna play this game. I'm gonna go over here this time. You know what I'm saying? Because this is where I need to be, and I'll go over there, and then all of a sudden things will change again. For like I said, for every level, there's a different devil, right? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
For around every corner, you know what I'm saying? May not be the right opportunity, but it's an opportunity. It all depends on how you look at it. Perception is key to everything, you know. And so you look at that, and I was just like, man, all right, I got this. But then the key to it was, man, I began to quiet this up here.
mm,
And I began to listen with this right here.
mhm,
And then I learned how to connect the two. You know what I'm saying? My brain speaks to my heart speaks to my brain, and my brain speaks to God.
right,
Everything was quiet. And the only thing I could hear was the voice that he was telling me, Stan, hey, can you hear me now?
right,
Do you hear me now? Now
mhm,
that we don't have any more outside distraction, come here, I got something for you. And I was like, cool, I got you. you. Thank you for this
Purpose
opportunity.
come out of pain for real.
Purpose came out of pain, man. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of pain. There was a price to pay for the gift that I have. And I tell everybody, man, you know what I'm saying? When they want to give me credit for the things that I do, I said, don't give me credit, man. If you knew what it took for this thing to come out, it was blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of being beat down, drugged through the mud, a lot of discipline, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, just being mentally strong throughout the whole thing in order to get to where I am. It was the discipline, it was the hard work, it was the failures that led me to where I am right now. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't give me credit because I don't deserve the credit. Get that credit to that man upstairs. Get that credit to him, because without him, I wouldn't be here. You know, I don't think any of us would be here. Depending on, you know, like people have their different beliefs, and I always want to respect everybody's beliefs, you know, and tell them, hey, man, whatever you believe in, if it makes you a better person, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, as long as it makes you a good person. If you got a belief system that makes you a crappy person, I can't agree with that. Right. You know what I'm saying? I just can't agree with that, man. And with that being said, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it on up, man. Okay. So I always end the segment with, you know what I'm saying, if you have some words to leave the people with today, what would you give them?
I will say this. Life is good, but it gets better. Life is good, but it gets better. The reason why I say that is we are becoming what we're supposed to be and continue to grow, change, and evolve, and knowing that you're enough to be who God has called you to be. But along this journey, life is good, but it always gets better because we continue to do the work. We continue to show up. We continue to be our authentic self. We continue to pray. We continue to communicate what we need and what we want. And we continue to get around a group and like-minded people. Sometimes if it means changing your environment. Sometimes if it means like you have to go alone. Sometimes if it means that you have to speak life into your own self. Sometimes it feels like you're walking this journey by yourself. But along the journey, it's going to be things that's going to distract you. It's going to be some people, places, and things that's going to try to get you off track through the adversity. The enemy might be on your back, and sometimes it might be the closest people to you. But I'm telling you, when you keep that journey and keep that focus, you're going to get there. Yeah. And along the journey, enjoy the process, but know that life is still good, though. It's still good because you got to think about the grateful things. You got to think about, right. I woke up today. Shoot, I got on to brush my teeth because I remember when I was in the car, or I remember when I was at a 2. Sometimes you just got to go back, and I'm not talking about we go to church hooping and hollering. I'm talking about really living that and really believing that in your heart. But you know, on the other side, that it's going to get better because you got more than this. It's right. More in you that God is putting in you. Because sometimes we have a gift inside. We can have one gift inside these, but once we start getting that relationship with God and knowing this is going to get better, all them other gifts going to start coming out.
Oh yeah,
they're going to start coming out, and you're going to be like, ooh, I didn't know I was like this. I didn't know I showed up this way and that way. So like I said, life is good, but it will get better. Trust me. Yeah. Life is good, but it will get better. You are enough, so keep changing, growing, evolving, and keep being who God has called you to be. And just show up. Just keep showing up and doing the work. Y'all have a good day, man.
Brother. You already know, man. And man, I want to say thank you for being on the show today, man. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for sharing that motivation, dropping that inspiration down on us, man. You know, we got my man D, man. You know, I'm glad that you tuned in today, Jen. I'm glad you tuned in today as well, man. Thank you guys for the comments. And D, I'm glad that you got something out of this, man. And you always know, if you need me, man, we can always sit down and talk, or that's what we do, brother. That's what we do. I will be seeing you here in a bit, though. You know what I'm saying? And for everyone else who's been tuning in, who's going to tune in, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation, man. I know I did. And like I said, we always bring in you guys some amazing guests. And you know what I'm saying? Jonathan is definitely up there, with those amazing guests, man. And so he's blessed us with his story. And if you guys made it this far, you know what to do, man. Go ahead and give me, if you go over to that YouTube channel, give me a subscription. You know what I'm saying? Hit that bell notification, leave me a comment, let us know what you think, and share it off with other people, man. And until next time, man, we love you and peace.
Yeah.